Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Report: NBA believes Jimmy Butler instigated and initiated fight between Miami Heat and New Orleans Pelicans. Jimmy Butler getting suspended may have been a surprise to some, but the league evidently found that the Miami Heat star partly instigated the fight that occurred with the New Orleans Pelicans. Butler and 4 other players received suspensions for their roles in the altercation that took place in the fourth quarter of the game on Friday. Butler and Pelicans forward Najee Marshall were issued 1-game suspensions. Miami's Thomas Bryant and New Orleans' Jose Alvarado were issued 3-game suspensions after leaving their respective benches and fighting. Nikola Jovic of the Heat was handed a 1-game suspension for leaving the bench area. The scuffle followed a play where Pelicans star Zion Williamson stole the ball from Butler, and Miami's Kevin Love grabbed Williamson on the way to the basket. Williamson did hit the ground but later defended Love's actions on the play. However, Marshall took exception and ultimately got into a confrontation with Butler before grabbing his neck and appearing to choke him. Butler, Bryant, Marshall and Alvarado were all ejected and missed the conclusion of Miami's 106-95 victory. Spoelstra said the ejection should have been punishment enough for Butler. "It felt like Jimmy shouldn't have gotten a game on that," the coach said. "It was really just kind of tangling and a little bit of pushing. I don't think that deserves another game because he ended up having to miss the fourth quarter, Friday. But it is what it is. Nobody wants to see it escalate to that point." Not everyone believed the fight was legit, with former NBA player Brandon Jennings calling it fake on social media. Butler and Jovic will serve their suspensions on Monday when the Heat play at the Sacramento Kings. Bryant will miss that contest as well as upcoming road games against the Portland Trail Blazers on Tuesday and the Denver Nuggets on Thursday. The suspension will cost Butler almost $260,000. Bryant will lose more than $52,000, and Jovic will lose more than $12,500. Miami has won 7 of its last 9 games to raise its record to 31-25. The Heat are in 7th place in the Eastern Conference. The altercation was one of a series of such events around the NBA lately. The Golden State Warriors and Charlotte Hornets engaged in a scuffle late in their recent game, as did the Brooklyn Nets and Minnesota Timberwolves. The Nets-Timberwolves clash caused Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas to question the unwritten rule of shooting the ball when the game is already decided. Bam Adebayo, Jamie Jaquez Jr. make huge plays late as Heat hold on to unlikely win in Sacramento. Down 3 starters in Tyler Herro, Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier along with 2 rotation pieces in Josh Richardson and Nikola Jovic, the Miami Heat stood tall with an explosive Sacramento Kings team at full strength. After building up a 101-81 advantage in the fourth quarter, the Kings used a 21-5 run to cut Miami's lead to 2 and nearly steal a victory. But thanks to the heroics of Jamie Jaquez Jr. and Bam Adebayo, the Heat held on to their lead and defeated the Kings, 121-110, in Sacramento Monday night. Many crucial plays were made down the stretch, starting with the elite shot-making from Jaquez, who finished the game with 26 points on an impressive 70% shooting. Throughout the night, Jaquez looked like the player Heat fans have fallen in love with, as he attacked mismatches in the mid-range and post while also beating the defense with cuts. When Sacramento rallied back and shrank Miami's lead to only 1 possession, Jaquez scored 2 critical buckets and settled the Heat down at a much-needed time. On the first, Jaquez attacked the smaller Kevin Huerter by backing him down and shooting a turnaround jumper over the top. Shortly after, Jaquez got matched up with Domantas Sabonis on the wing. Jaquez picked up his dribble while attacking baseline and seemed to have nowhere to go but, with a great display of patience and skill, Jaquez stepped through and hit an impressive floater. Once the Heat built some separation, Adebayo put a bow on the game with a pair of plays on both ends. With the shot clock under 5, Adebayo received the ball at the free throw line with Huerter on him, took 1 dribble, and hit a clean turnaround jump shot to put Miami up 116-110. The entry pass came from Duncan Robinson, who finished with a career-high 11 assists. Miami then took an 8-point lead after a filthy Caleb Martin slam, and Adebayo followed up Martin's Kodak moment with a vicious block on Trey Lyles that killed any remaining hope of a Kings comeback. Adebayo finished the game with 28 points on 11 of 18 shooting, 10 rebounds, 7 assists and 2 steals, while Jaquez notched 26 points on 12 for 17 shooting, 5 rebounds, 2 assists and 3 steals. The Heat received other contributions from Kevin Love, Caleb Martin, Haywood Highsmith, and DeLon Wright, who had a tremendous Heat debut. But when plays needed to be made, Adebayo and Jaquez came through for the Heat, who have now won 4 straight games and 8 out of their last 10. This win bumps the Heat's record to 32-25 and moves them into 6th place in the East. Mike Brown drops truth bomb on Kings, possibly replicating Heat culture. The Sacramento Kings failed to take down a Miami Heat team missing Jimmy Butler, Tyler Herro, Terry Rozier, and numerous other key players. The Western Conference playoff picture is stacked and Sacramento missed a chance to pick up an easy win at home. The Heat's win came as a result of big-time performances from Bam Adebayo, 28 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals on 10-18 shooting, Jamie Jaquez Jr., 26 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 assists, and Kevin Love, 19 points and 7 rebounds on 6-9 shooting. Miami more than doubling Sacramento's foul shots, 25-12, was a major reason, too. But in the eyes of many, this win will simply be seen as the result of the team's impressive culture and commitment to winning. Kings head coach Mike Brown was asked about Heat culture after the game. He gave credit to the organization but said that he didn't want to play copycat. You can't replicate it because you've got to have your own culture, in my opinion. It's hard to do the same thing that somebody else is doing, the Kings coach said. But the reality of it is, from top to bottom, they believe in toughness and they believe in playing hard and playing the right way. They're not looking at offensive numbers, they're looking at defensive numbers, how you compete and how tough you are. And then they're trying to develop those types of players and put them on the floor. The combination of Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, Brown said, is a strong duo. Getting buy-in from players starts with guys like Dwayne Wade and Butler, creating a top-down impact where players all the way down the roster follow the leads of the stars. But even Riley admitted that each team has its own culture. Teams may copy play styles or schemes, but not an overall sense of who the team is at its core. For a long time, the Kings' culture was terrible. Now, with Brown, De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis leading the way, Sacramento is a winning team that plays cohesively and is hungry to disrupt the power structure in the West. Kings culture probably won't catch on like Heat culture, mostly because it's been played into the ground and turned into a marketing gimmick, but it can continue to make Sacramento a winner. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation, Mike Brown? Leave your opinion in the comments.